I'm going to show you how to complete the problems on this worksheet called Variables on Each Side Practice. So the first two problems are review problems, just to get you warmed up. So what you see here is, you can go ahead and use the distributive property right here. So 3 times 5x is 15x. 3 times a negative 3x is a negative 9x. And then bring everything else down. Okay, you should see right here that you can simplify this even further because there are still like terms on the same side of the equal sign that you can combine. So you want to go 15x subtract 9x, and that is equal to 6x. Then again, bring everything else down. Okay, from this part, you can go ahead and build it because you only have a variable on one side of the equal sign, and that's where you want to start building. So we're going to build this equation right there. So start with x, then we multiplied it by 6, and then we added 5. The inverse operation of adding 5 is to subtract 5. So that's what you're going to do on both sides of that equal sign. 5 subtract 5, that's 0. 47 subtract 5 is 42. Bring down your equal sign and bring down that 6x. Now you go on back up. And the inverse operation of timesing by 6 is to divide by 6. So you're going to do that to both sides of that equal sign. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 1 times x is x. And I ran out of room, so I'm going to write it to the left-hand side over here. 42 divided by 6 is 7. Now if this were an assessment, to ensure that you got it correct, you would substitute the 7 in for the values of x. Simplify that side, and once you've simplified that side, it should equal 47. It should show you that 47 is equal to 47. Okay? And if not, then you either messed up when you checked it, or you might have messed up somewhere in here. Number 2. Again, you want to use the distributive property right here. That's one of the ways you can do this. 2 times 7x is 14x. And then you want to go 2 multiplied by that negative 3x. A positive times a negative is a negative, and this is negative 6x. And then bring down your plus 4, your equal sign, and that 28. You cannot build it yet, simply because you need to simplify further. 14x subtract 6x is 8x. Bring down your plus 4, that equal sign, and that 28. And now that you have a variable on only one side of that equal sign, now you want to build that equation. So start with x, then we multiplied it by 8, and then after that they added 4. The inverse operation of adding 4 is subtracting 4, so you want to do that to both sides of that equal sign. 4 subtract 4 is 0. 28 subtract 4 is 24. Bring everything down, please. Okay, now you go on back up now that you've simplified it. The inverse operation of times 8 is to divide by 8, so that's what you can do to both sides of that equal sign. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 1 times x is 1x, or x, same thing. And 24 divided by 8 is 3. And again, I ran out of room, so I'm going to write it over here, but I'm going to make sure to identify my answer right there, so it's very clear that that's my solution. Okay, number 2. Now you're going to see that you have variables on one side of the equal sign and on the other side of the equal sign. Now that's something new for you. So what I want you to do is you're going to treat it like you normally would. Let's look at this side, and looks like, we'd start out with the distributive property. 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times a positive 2x is a positive 6x. Okay? And then bring down your equal sign. Over here, we cannot simplify that because we can't go 35 plus 5x because those are not like terms. So all you do is just bring them down, please. Okay? Well, right there, you can hopefully see that you need to simplify that. They're on the same side of the equal sign, so we can simplify those. 6x plus 6x, that's 12x. And then on that other side, like I've mentioned before, you can't simplify that. So you just bring it down. Okay. Now that it's simplified on this side, and then that's as simplified as it's going to get, this is what you need to do, and this is probably the most important part. You need to move the variables to the same side of the equal sign, okay? So you can either decide to move all your variables to the left-hand side, meaning that this 5x needs to go over here, or you can move your variables to the right-hand side, which would mean this 12x has got to go over here and join this one, this 5x. Either way is going to work, but I'm deciding to move the variables to the left-hand side because I already see that there's no constants over here. There's nothing else bugging this 12x. So that's going to make it easier for me in the long run. But at the same time, it doesn't matter which side you choose. So when you do that, when you move them to the same side of the equal sign, please make sure you use inverse operations. Here's what I mean by that. See how it was a plus 5x? The inverse operation of a plus 5x is a minus 5x. And whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you always need to do it to the other side of the equal sign. Okay? So 5x subtract 5x is 0. 12x subtract 5x is 7x. Bring down that equal sign and bring down that 35. Okay, now you're to a point where you could hopefully recognize that you can just build it. You see how you have just a variable on one side of the equal sign? That's when you're able to build it. So build this equation right there. We started with x. Then after that, they just multiplied it by 7. So the inverse operation of multiplying by 7 is to divide by 7. So that's what you're going to do to both sides of that equal sign. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 1 times x is 1x, or x, same thing. And 35 divided by 7 is 5. So your solution to this equation is 5. Now, if you were going to be checking this on an assessment, you would check it the exact same way you normally would, but simply by substituting this 5 in for x's, okay? So what you would do, I'm just going to show you how to substitute it in for this first example right here. You take this 5, and I'm going to rewrite everything like I see it, and that 5 is going to be inserted and substituted wherever I saw the value of x. Okay? So instead of the x's, I put the 5's in. And you got to do that to also the other side because you also have that same variable on the other side. Okay, now you just simplify it. I see I have parentheses right here, and inside the parentheses I have some multiplication. So 2 times 5 is 10, and then 2 times 5 is another 10. So I have 10 plus 10 is 20, so this is really 3 times 20. 3 times 20 is 60, so this side equals 60. Okay, let's go ahead and check the other side. So I have a 5 times a 5 right there, and that's positive 25, so it's really 35 plus 25, and 35 plus 25 is 60. So see how both sides equal 60? That is proof that this solution of x being equal to 5 is correct. Okay? All right here, this is just a quick little, I guess, reminder of an example of how to do this. So you'll see right here we started with the distributive property, and that's how we got 16x minus 16. And then over here, there's nothing we could do, so you just bring it down. And I wrote this little note to you to move the variables to the same side of the equal sign. So I decided to move them to the left, so the inverse operation of a positive 12x is to subtract, do it to both sides. 12x subtract 12x is 0. 16x minus 12x is 4x. Bring down your minus 16. Bring down your 36. And then that's when you build it. See how we have just a variable on one side of the equal sign? Now it's familiar to where you can build it. We started with x, multiplied it by 4, then subtracted 16. Inverse operation of subtract 16 is to add 16, so that's what we did to both sides right here. Negative 16 plus 16 is 0. 36 plus 16 is 52. Bring down that 4x. Okay, from there, now you're able to go back up, and the inverse operation of multiply by 4 was to divide by 4. So divide by 4, divide by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times x is x. And 52 divided by 4 is 13. Okay. Oh, number 4, it should be hopefully pretty easy for you simply because the variable is only on one side of the equal sign. So it's very similar to number 2 and number 1, just like you've been doing in class. So use your distributive property, and you have 2 times x, and that's a positive 2x, and you have a 2 times that positive 7, which is a positive 14. Okay? So what you need to do now is you need to bring down your 6 times x, bring down your equal sign, and bring down your 46. You'll notice that you have some like terms on the same side that you can easily combine. And 6x plus 2x, that is 8x. And then you bring down your plus 14, your equal sign, and your 46. Now that you have just the variables on one side of the equal sign, all simplified out, you can go ahead and build that. Start with x, times it by 8, add 14. So inverse operation of that is subtract 14. Do that to both sides of that equal sign. 14 take away 14 is 0. 46 take away 14 is 32. Bring everything else down. Go back up. Inverse operation of timesing by 8 is to divide by 8, and you want to do that to both sides of that equal sign. 8 divided by 8 is 1, 1 times x is x, and 32 divided by 8 is 4. Alright, number 5, you'll notice there's a variable on each side of the equal sign. So that's going to be similar to the example I just showed you over here, and that's going to be also similar to example number 3. Okay? So what we did is just treat it like normal. Anything on that side you can combine? Nope. This side, oh, you can totally simplify by using the distributive property. So you'll end up with 7x plus 21. Bring everything else down, just like you see it. Okay, now this comes the part where you need to move the variables to the same side of that equal sign. So in previous examples, I moved everything to the left. Let's go ahead and show you that moving it to the right is also going to work. So use inverse operations when you do that. So the inverse operation of positive 4x is to subtract 4x. Do that to both sides. 4x subtract 4x is 0. 7x minus 4x is 3x. Bring everything else down that's left. Okay, now look, you have just a variable on one side of that equal sign, and now that's where you build. Start with x, then they multiplied it by 3, then added 21. So the inverse operation of adding 21 is to subtract 21, and please remember to do that to both sides of the equal sign. 21 take away 21 is 0, 18 take away 21 is negative 3. Bring down the equal sign and bring down that 3x. Now go up. Inverse operation timesing by 3 is to divide by 3, and you're going to do that to both sides of that equal sign. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times x is x. And then negative divided by positive is going to be negative. So negative 3 divided by a positive 3 is negative 1. Okay. I would recommend pausing the video. I think we've done a couple of examples that hopefully can help you do this by yourself. So right here, you want to use your distributive property because we need to simplify that side more. Positive 3 times 5x is a positive 15x. And then positive 3 times a negative 7x is a negative 21x. Okay, bring down your 3x, bring down your equal sign, bring down the 12 minus x. Okay, you're going to see right there, you could totally simplify all those on the left-hand side because everything right there are like terms. So 3x plus 15x is 18x. 18x minus 21x, that is negative 3x. Okay, bring everything down. There we go. And I know some of you want to start building it, but please don't do that because you should see that we have a variable on each side. You need to move them to the same side. So I'm going to move it to the left side. So the inverse operation of subtract x is to add x and do that to both sides of that equal sign. Negative x plus x is 0. Negative 3x plus x is negative 2x. Bring down your equal sign, bring down the 12. Okay, look. Now you've got just a variable on one side of the equal sign. You could build it now. Start with x, then they multiplied it by negative 2. So the inverse operation of multiplying by negative 2 is to divide by negative 2, and that's what you're going to do to both sides of that equal sign. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. 1 times x is x. And then 12 divided by negative 2, so positive divided by negative is a negative. Negative 6. Okay, there you go. Number 7. If you haven't already, I hope you've been trying to pause the video to try this. Okay, don't you dare go 9 minus 4. Nope, you gotta go this minus 4, this negative 4 times 7x. a negative times a positive is a negative, and this would give you a negative 28x. Okay, a negative times a negative is going to be positive, so negative 4 times negative 8x is a positive 32x. Okay, bring down everything, please. All right, you should hopefully see that you got to simplify even further on the same side. So negative 28 plus 32. So negative 28x plus 32x, that's going to give you a positive 4x. Okay? Bring everything down. Okay, there's nothing else on this side I can simplify and nothing on that side. So now comes the part where you got to move the variables to the same side. I don't care which side you move them to. I'm going to move them to the left. So the inverse operation of a positive x is a minus x. Do that to both sides of the equal sign. X take away x is 0. 4x take away an x is a positive 3x. Please bring everything down. And also look right here, it's a minus 3x, or a minus 3. So bring down your minus 3, okay? Look, now you just have a variable on one side of the equal sign, and that's your cue to build it. Start with x, then they multiplied it by 3, and then they added 9. So the inverse operation of adding 9 is to subtract 9, so you do that to both sides of that equal sign. 9 take away 9 is 0, and then negative 3 take away 9 is negative 12. And unfortunately I don't have any room, so I'm sorry, but I have to draw it up here, okay? So a positive 3x, make sure you copy it correctly, is equal to negative 3 minus 9 is negative 12. Okay, now that I've rewritten it, now I can go back up. Inverse operation times 3 is to divide by 3, and do that to both sides of the equal sign. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times x is 1x, or x. And a negative divided by a positive is going to give you a negative. So negative 12 divided by a positive 3 is going to give you a negative 4. Number 8. This one looks like looks like a long problem. Don't give up. 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times a negative 3 is a negative 9. Okay, bring everything down, please. Over here. Okay, now you'll see that there's more things that you can simplify, so that's what you want to do. I see that I have some like terms right there. So 6x minus 9x is negative 3x. And I have more like terms right here, negative 9 minus 4. So think of it as your 9 underwater, go down 4 more, and that makes you negative 13 underwater. Okay, and then bring down your 2x, your equal sign, and your plus 12. Okay, don't build it yet because you got to move your variables to the same side of the equal sign. I'm going to go ahead and move them to the right. So the inverse operation of minus 3x is to add 3x. Do that to both sides of the equal sign. Negative 3x plus 3x is 0. 2x plus 3x is 5x. Bring everything down. That's left. And look, it's a negative 13. Bring that down, please. Okay, from there, now that you have a variable just on one side of the equal sign, that's when you're going to build, and build that. Start with x, then we multiplied it by 5, and then we added 12. Inverse operation of adding 12 is subtracting 12, and do that to both sides of the equal sign. 12 take away 12 is 0. Negative 13 minus 12 is negative 25. Okay, bring down your equal sign and bring down your 5 times x. Now go up. Inverse operation of timesing by 5 is to divide by 5. So divide both sides by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1 times x is x. And then a negative divided by a positive is a negative. So negative 25 divided by a positive 5 gives you negative 5 as your solution. Number 9. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and on this side I don't see that I can combine any terms. Over here, let's see, we got to use a distributive property. So 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times a negative 2x is a negative 12x. Then bring down your plus 4x and bring everything else down just like you see it. Okay, nothing on that side that I can combine. That side, yeah, there's still like terms that I can combine. So negative 12x plus 4x is negative 8x. Bring everything down just like you see it. Okay, do not build it yet. You got to move them to the same side of the equal sign, those variables. So I'm going to go ahead and move them to the right. So the inverse operation of minus 2x is to add 2x. Okay? Negative 2x plus 2x is 0. Negative 8x. So you're underwater 8, and then you're going to go up 2. So negative 8x plus 2x is negative 6x. Now bring everything down, just like you see it. Please look, that's a negative 18 you're going to bring down, okay? Oh, and now that you have a variable on just one side of the equal sign, now you're going to go ahead and build it. So start with x, then we multiplied it by negative 6. Then after that, we added 6. Inverse operation of adding 6 is to subtract 6, so do that to both sides of the equal sign. 6 take away 6 is 0. Negative 18 minus 6 is negative 24. And then bring down your equal sign and your negative 6x. Now that you've simplified it down to there, go back up. Inverse operation of timesing by negative 6 is to divide by negative 6. Do that to both sides of that equal sign, please. Negative 6 divided by negative 6 is 1. 1 times x is x. Negative divided by negative is positive, so negative 24 divided by negative 6 is a positive 4. Okay, I want to see if you can tackle this one without me helping you. So you should pause the video and see if you can do it. It looks kind of intimidating, but I mean, if you work hard, you can definitely handle it. Okay, there's stuff we can definitely combine after we distribute right through there on that side. And looks like same thing on that side. We got to use the distributive property. So let's start with that left side. So 3x times 4, or 4 times 3x is 12x. 3 times a positive x is 4 times a positive x is a positive 4x. Bring down your plus 7, your minus 5x. Okay, right here, oh, this is crazy. So I see that there's parentheses right here, and this parentheses is right next to this quantity, so we're going to have to multiply. Negative 5 times 5x is negative 25x. Negative 5 times a negative 6x is a positive 30x. Okay, please bring everything down now, just like you see it. Just like you see it. Don't miscopy it, if that's a word. Okay, because I almost did. All right, now let's go ahead and let's see what things we can simplify on the same side of the equal sign. And I see that I have a 12x, and a like term with it is a 4x, and a like term with that is a minus 5x. So 12x plus 4x is 16x. 16x minus 5x gives me 11 x's. Okay, and then bring down your plus 7, equal sign. Okay, now on this right-hand side, looks like there's some things we can combine also. I see that I have a negative 25x plus a 30x. So negative 25x plus 30x. That gives me a positive 5x. And you can also hopefully see that we have an 8 right here and a plus 23. 8 plus 23 gives me 31. Yeah, 31. Okay, so now it's super spread out, but we have simplified from this gigantic thing up here to that to this. So you're definitely simplifying it and you're moving in the right direction. Now my problem is you can't build it yet because you have a variable on one side of the equal sign and also on the other side of the equal sign. You can only build it when you only have a variable on one side of the equal sign, so we need to move them to the same side. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move them to the left-hand side, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 5x over here, because that's the inverse operation of plus 5x. And then I'm going to subtract 5x over here, because whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you do it to the other side of the equal sign. So 5x subtract 5x is 0. 11x subtract 5x is 6x. And I know it's so spread out, I'm really sorry about that, but bring everything down, okay? So you took care of that. Bring down your plus 7. Bring down equal sign. Bring down your 31, and that's 0, so that's nothing. Okay, now look at how simplified you got it. Now that you have a variable on one side of the equal sign, now you can definitely build it. So that's what I want you to do. So we started with x, then we multiplied it by 6, and then after that we added 7. So your inverse operation of adding 7 is to subtract 7, so do that to both sides of that equal sign. 7 take away 7 is 0. 31 take away 7 is 24. Bring down your equal sign, bring down your 6x. Look how simplified you've gotten it. Now that you've gotten it down here, inverse operation it back up. Inverse operation of times 6 is to divide by 6. Do that to both sides of that equal sign. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 1 times x is 1x, or x. And positive divided by positive is a positive, so 24 divided by 6 gives you a positive 4. Okay, have a good day. Bye.